Hello, good evening all. How's it going? Lee Ashby here, Motocross and Speedway Memories. Hope you're all good. I can see a few of you guys on now. Just got a comment from Mr. Jim Brookman. How's it going, Jim? Did you get riding out there today? I'm really looking forward to this interview with Billy. Hopefully it all goes good. Hopefully the internet will be all good. My lady Lou has just put that in the comments, look, so any of you guys, just make sure you click on that StreamYard link in the post before you come in the video so I can see your guys' names and profiles so I can quote whatever you say to Billy. So, hope you're all good. Hello, Patrick, how's it going? Is that New York, baby? Woo! To see some good news as well. I haven't been keeping up with the Speedway. I'm going to have to catch up with it all later, but I think Team GB just won the Speedway World Cup as well at Manchester at Bellevue, so that's great news. I'm going to be catching up on my recording a bit later. Not sure who that is. Whoever that is, if you can click on that link, my missus has put that in the link, look, and then you can get your profile up like Patrick like that on the thing, so if you say anything, it'll come up. Ben, how's it going? Motocross Words, how's it going, buddy? Looking forward to this one. Might drop a question or two between nappy changes. Yes, mate. Get involved. Hope all the commentary is going all well. I see you involved with the Western Beach race as well. Looked like a really cool thing as well. So another feather in your cap and all that. That's pretty cool, Ben. Fair play. I'm on notes. Hope we don't get a shout. I'm not leaving the fire station for this. I'm not sure who that is, but if you can click on that link that my missus has put in the thing, it's on the actual post before you come into the video, and I can see who you are and see your name and profile like that, so it comes up on the thing there. Hello, Leon. How's it going? You're here. Good man. Yeah, it looks good, Ben. It looked good, mate. I was trying to get down there as well until I got the old COVID and all that as well, so that put me out of that. And I hadn't been to Western, I don't think, since the 80s when I saw Thorpe there, so I was going to make an appearance, but that all went tits up, unfortunately. But hopefully next year I'll be able to get down and go and have a look. Right. Hopefully I can get Billy in. I will send him the link and try and get him in. I can see a few of you are online now, so hopefully a lot of you guys will register your names. Most of you guys are in here. There's just that one there. And hopefully they'll get that one sorted out as well. Just so I can quote your name, basically, so I know who I'm speaking to, so it's good. But there's just basically that link. There's a link in the post before you come into the video. You just click on that, and it gives you permission. This is Mr. Simon Howes as well. It was me who said good evening. Dumb shit I am. I forgot to tap the link. It's what's the thing? How you going, buddy, Simon? Good to see you, buddy. Yo, Ben. What's up, buddy? He's the man. I got my Mr. Billy Liles shirt off as well. Much appreciated for that, Ben. Obviously, I'm going to show Billy that in a minute, as well as a few photos that a few guys have told me. Martin Neary's sent me a picture of his shirts, and I know Patrick's got shirts as well, and I think it was helmets he had that I've got the pictures to put up as well. So, right, let me get this link to Billy. And then we can hopefully his internet will be all good. I believe it's 2 p.m. where Billy's come from. Anyway, I just wanted to say, obviously, I'll just take that down. Big thanks to my man here, Owen Developments, Mr. Lee Owen from Owen Developments for his support. Really appreciate it. You can check out his Owen Developments website on www.owendevelopments.co.uk. Also, thank you very much to the MX legend himself, Mr. Stefan Everts, who helps me out with rider contacts and stuff like that, which we really appreciate it. You can check out his Stefan Everts Gin on www.s72gin.com as well. I think that's the pictures I've got, Patrick. I don't know if anyone calls you Pat. I nearly said Pat then. But I think I've got the picture to show Billy that as well. So hopefully I have got that pictures of what you sent me as well. So let's see. Let's try and invite Billy over, and then hopefully it's gonna sort itself out. Here we go. There we go. Right, I've sent the link to Billy. So fingers crossed, we're going to get him on. I answer to anything. Anything rude, Pat? Well, we know everything gets shortened, don't we, these days? Got to struggle to shorten the Lee, though. And then le. Just Ash or Ashby normally. Right, hopefully I've sent that to Billy. Martin's asking me where the clouds are linked, so I can see that Billy's online on Facebook. I've sent him the link, so fingers crossed. Get the man in, get the video going, and then get it on. Got plenty of pictures on there that I've put on here. Hopefully I'll be able to share most of them with Billy. I think that's the one we're talking about there, aren't we, Pat? Look at that. Beautiful. Got that one on there as well. I think I've got a few. I think someone else had his, I think it was Leon actually, that had his Motocross to Nations helmet as well. Yes, it was. Yo, there you are, Martin. How's it going, buddy? Martin Neary. Man with all the shirts. Right. Hopefully we'll get Billy on. Just messaging Billy now, make sure he's got it. Hopefully he works. Cheers, Martin. I think I've got a picture of you on here as well, Martin, I think. I'm sure I put you on here. There's Martin, look. There's Martin himself with one of the shirts of Billy that we'll show Billy as well. You've got both your shirts there, look. Got one with 6 and 7 on. The one I got off Ben. It's behind me with the number 5 on. So that's cool as well. Right, hopefully we'll get the man on in a second. Just double checking. See if he's coming on. Hopefully he's going to be on in a second. Hopefully Billy will be clicking on it, on the link. How's he getting on? Come on, Billy. It's Mr. Gate. Classic. Hello, Adam Pryor from Farringdon, live. 7 was 1990, 6 was 91, and 5 was 92. Yes, love the stats, Ben. Knew you wouldn't let me down. Beautiful, but I'm sure Martin knew that as well. You guys are the ones that know it all. Yeah, if this was Speedway, be disqualified on the 2-minute time allowance. Hopefully, he's getting it. I'm going to say to him, because last time I did, about over a year ago it was, when I was first doing the interviews, I did a Skype one with Billy once back then, when it was just like a one-on-one thing. He went all the way around his sister-in-law's to get set up on a laptop, but he was going to go for this one on his phone. Oh, I think he's just come into my screen. I can see you. Yep, brilliant. So I think he's got him on. You'll be able to hear me, Billy, when I bring you on. Right, I'm just going to introduce him then. The man's here. So let's get this video going and then I can bring him in. Right, where's the new video? Here we go then. Let's bring the man in then, Mr. Billy Liles. Hopefully you can hear me.
I can
Billy,
hear you. Can you hear me?
that's beautiful. I can hear you, yes.
So far, so
How's,
good. I'm a tech idiot, so
don't worry, Billy, we all were until we got used to it. All the mod cons and all that, all the mod cons and all that. How are you?
doing well. How about yourself?
Not too bad, thank you. I really appreciate you doing it, buddy.
Oh, I enjoy just connecting back to those great and wonderful days.
Yes, 100%. That's what it's all about. Everybody loves the memories and reminiscing. They've already got some of the guys has put, Leon's put great video, let's go. Adam Pryor's put legend. It's quite good as well with this live thing so that people can ask me stuff live as well at the same time, even when I've asked my own questions as well, which is quite cool.
That'll be
And
great.
I'm glad, yes. Patrick Corridon's put awesome. I know he's been looking forward to this one. Quite a few of the guys have been looking forward to it. I've got a lot of pictures to show you as well. So, right then. So, what have you actually been up to lately then, Billy? How is everything? What have you been up to?
Oh, things been a little crazy here with work. I mean, we're working, I don't know, 60 hours a week in 5 days. Uh, you know, for some reason nobody wants to work around here, so it's just been tough time. The people that want to work are making good money, but just things aren't the same as they used to be since COVID.
Yeah, yeah. Has that all affected all your work as well? What were you actually doing again now?
I actually manage an automotive service department, and our business has skyrocketed. Um,
Hmm.
we we don't have, we've got four mechanics. I run the service department. We have an assistant service and counter guy, and we're struggling just to keep up.
Mm. So it's actually made you busier.
Well, we have a great shop, a great crew. We're highly rated in the town, so that just adds to the chaos.
Well, that's good that everyone can come to you guys anyway, so that's good. Right, I've already got people asking me questions. I've got some questions as well set myself. I was just going to show you as well that I've got this lovely shirt here. Look, check that out.
Action Workshop.
Yeah, and I've just been reliably informed by Ben on here. Ben Rumbold said that this should be 92. Is that right? Number 5.
1992.
There you go. So Ben was bang on. Got a nice little background there. Beautiful. So I acquired that the other day, so I was well chuffed for that one. I've got quite a few of the guys as well. I've got a few shirts. I've got one here that Martin Neary sent me earlier. He's got number 7 there on it as well.
That would have been, I think, because the numbers went 8 and 89. 90 was number 7. 91 was 6. 92 was 5. And had I stayed in the class, I guess I would have been 90. What, 93? I would have been number 3, I think. Uh,
Yeah, that was when converted. Yeah, I remember that.
that's when I come over to the 250 class with Alec Wright.
Yeah. Look, he's got both of them. Look, so he's got the number 6 and number 7 shirt, Martin Neary. So that's pretty cool there. Look, he's got the old bottoms as well, the XO bottoms as well, by the looks of it.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So I'm chuffed. I've got the number 5 one anyway. So let's see what some of these guys are asking me. So um, Ben Rumbold, he does Motocross Words on Facebook, and he's also been getting into a lot of commentary and everything in the UK. He's been doing the British Championships and stuff. He's a big fan as well. He's put, got any sales jobs going? I'd love Billy as the service manager.
We stay busy. I mean, we're all about helping customers and doing what's right for them, and it's a busy and long days, but it pays the bills for one, and for two, I mean, it's a great, I guess, accolade to help people um, that are having trouble with their vehicles.
Mm. I think Ben works for Suzuki. I don't want to get that wrong, but I'm pretty sure he works for Pebley Suzuki in the UK. I
Uh,
think that's what he does. Right, I'll ask some of the. I've got plenty of questions in front of me, but I'll ask some of the guys questions while they're live. Mr. Jim Redford, how's it going, Jim? He's put, great to see Billy looking so well. I saw Billy ride a lot when I was spannering for Mervyn Anstey in the '92 season.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. You must have
Swerving Mervyn.
that's it, Swerving Mervyn. You must have memories of Merv the Swerve.
We didn't have too many run-ins, but I can remember a weekend in France.
Yeah.
Had I not stopped, I would have been through the fence. But he rode hard and was aggressive. I mean, you learn to not let those things upset you and return the favors.
Exactly, yeah. Old Merv loved a bit of contact, but he was a proper British bulldog, old Merv. I had a good interview with him not all that long ago as well, and that was really good. Jim Brookman's put, Lee, can you please ask Billy what was his favourite track in Europe? Hmm.
I guess from a spectator point, I really liked the Belgian Grand Prix there in the Citadel. But I'd have to say, I think my favorite track was Hawkstone Park.
I understand.
I always ran well there, and had I not had some bike trouble in '91, I would have won that year too. But it was fast, physical, rough, demanding.
Very physical, wasn't it? I'm sure I've got a picture of you on the podium there, potentially. I'm sure I did from the picture from behind of the guys. Is it that one there? Was that at Hawkstone? Not
Very
sure.
well could have been because Watley did have a good race, great weekend that weekend too.
Yeah, I remember in there, and I can see Barbara there, the bottom left-hand corner, the Dunlop lady that I remember that she used to do all the UK, the Dunlop tyres and stuff. And I see obviously George Obey there. Did you get on with Jeremy Watley?
I did. I mean, a lot of people didn't get along with him, but I actually got
Mm,
along with Jeremy well.
mm. Yeah, good rider. Won the British Championship as well. He was always sort of doing well in the GPs and 250 and earlier on. Obviously, you're there with the mighty George Obey there. Did you get on with George Obey? What did you make of George, Billy?
George was an awesome rider. I mean, he had a
Mm,
unique style. Um, and again, when you're racing, everybody's playing head games with everybody. But as a person on the outside, I mean, we actually got along well in '94 when he had the big team. Started out with a Vertimati, but we were having trouble keeping it together, and just things kind of fell apart. And I stepped in, with his team, and actually won my last GP that year with this team.
right, yeah. Was that where they were all in that sort of like a light blue colour, wasn't it? All the bike and everything. I'm
Yeah,
sure I've got.
that was gosh, yeah, it was all light blue, Belgacom.
That's it, isn't it?
That's it.
There we go. So what was that like? What was that bike like in the end? And obviously, I know you started on the Vertimati, as you said, but what was that like on
Um,
that team?
that was a production based Honda.
Mm,
But through the years, I mean, everything had kind of progressed close to the works bike. But if you'll look and see, we had gone with the Marzocchi front forks that year
sweet bike,
because
yeah.
without the factory suspension, you just couldn't get the up. I didn't like the upside down forks unless they were the Showa ones with the adjustability and stuff. And I have a lot more success with that set of front forks than I did a production modified set.
Mm, okay, take that off there. I just see that talking about you mentioned them all just a minute ago. Ben there, the one I got the shirt off. He's the guy that I got the your number 5 shirt off. He's just put. I have a question. It's bugged me for nearly 30 years. I was at Namur in '92 and I was in the Citadel when you came into it, high-sided coming out of the trees. Is that how you injured your finger, which was on the Motorvision videos we all saw? Or did you do it in the first turn pile-up?
It got nailed in the first turn.
Oh, right, okay. There you go, Ben. You got that answered. I've been catching loads of pictures. I've got so many pictures on here. I've got to check them out. I'm sure I've even got a picture of that potentially. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've even got that. Not a good one then. I can see the handler's pretty bashed up from that picture there.
Uh, Fingers were always a tough thing to deal with. I got up one day with a dislocated finger, and they told me not to ride. I went to the hospital. They put it back in joint and told me, to lay off. I went back and taped it to my pinky and wrote the second moto at another event as well.
Wow. You guys were obviously proper gladiators back then as well. So I know you guys rode with a lot of injuries pretty much most weeks, didn't you?
You pretty much had to. I mean, I remember, I think it was in the '89 season, I fell off in France and dislocated my shoulder. But in the tumble, it relocated, but it hung down about 3 inches. And I think the next week we were in the moor, and I just would strap it back, taped it up, and couldn't hardly move when I was off the bike. I was stuck sitting like this, but I'd get my hand on the handlebar, and once I got riding, it didn't bother me.
Mm, not good. Not good.
Could
Not
have been
ideal.
worse.
Could have been worse. Got Marlon Williams here. Go Marlon, how's it going? He's put talk about memories. I remember meeting Billy in Finn Barkanise's kitchen when he stayed there many years ago during his riding days. I was in total awe.
Again, gosh, I mean, I had some great mechanics as well, and a bunch of friends from the Scandinavian area, Sweden, Finland. Um, they were always really great to me and just took care of me, Ari, one of my mechanics. Um, we did a lot with nothing in the early years, like, 87, 88, 89. Um, and he could do just about anything I needed done. As long as I could tell him, he'd find a way to make it work.
That's very cool. I've got a guy here. I'm not sure if this is someone on YouTube. It's down as 64 Max Power, his name on there. He's put, Billy, I have a trick 1983 KX125. You are welcome to ride it at the Unadilla Rewind in June.
Oh, me, I am currently not riding at all. I value being able to walk, and I had a good friend that I grew up racing with back in the early '70s, and he's, gosh, in his mid '50s. He met with a tree about 2 weeks ago and still recovering. And I told him, I said, we're not young anymore. It's time to sit at home and watch TV.
Also, the same guy has also messaged saying, I was on the line when you and Mickey Kessler had that epic battle at Croc as well.
Oh, yeah, the Kawasaki Race of Champions in Englishtown, New Jersey. Um, we had some great battles. That was his home track, and enjoyed going up every year in the fall, to have that race. We had an epic battle on KX80s in the mini bike race.
Right. I think I've read up on all that, and everyone still seems to mention it even still today. I think I might even have a picture of a collision as well, because I can just see that a few people have been mentioning it. So I'll try and bring that up in a minute as well. Got a Tim Dobson here. He's put, question is Billy still in touch with any of the 500 GP riders from the 90s at all?
Not really. Again, I have a few texts with Ari, my mechanic, and of course, we've lost Gabors and Chauvet and some of the other riders and stuff. But I do tend to keep up with Ari just a little bit, even though such a great distance and stuff. And again, he was a great mechanic, and just able to do a ton with nothing, you know, good engineering background, uh, good understanding of when you would tell him something. He could also ride, which was a big help.
Mm, yeah, yeah. I've got Ben Rumbold as well. He's put. I recently looked it up, and Billy was the last ever American to race a Honda CR500 at the Motocross the Nations. What are Billy's best memories from that '92 MX to Nations in Australia? Obviously, it was an epic thing.
I would have to say being able to have, I guess, a year's information of when we got there and being able to communicate with Emmett and LaRocco, uh, you know, and have not so much a plan, but, you know, who we needed to look out for, just having the background of, you know, attending a couple of the events at different years and being a part of it in '89 when I rode for Luxembourg, Jackie Martins, and you know, just having a good idea of what we were getting into.
Mm. What was your guys' thoughts? Obviously, because there must have been quite a bit of pressure because obviously there was a bit of a run going on. I'm not sure exactly how many years it was at the time. It must have been 10 or 11. I know it was Team GB that ended it, wasn't it, in '94. So did you
Yeah,
guys feel any pressure of that? That obviously it was on a long run of winning.
I think the original team with Roy Jansen was supposed to be Bobby Moore and Donnie Schmidt.
Yeah,
And I think Jody Weissel and some of the American press were really laying into sending, you know, they were calling it a second rate team. We'd never win.
yeah,
He called me back and said, you know, they had backed out and would I still go with Jeff Emig and Mike LaRocco? And I told him absolutely. You know, I followed their careers, actually knew both of them,
yeah,
and was real comfortable with going with them because none of us had ever been. And, you know, once an American, always an American. And with the, you know, with the history we had there,
mm,
uh, I felt confident, you know, we were going to be in the running the whole time.
yeah, definitely. Been bringing up some nice pictures up there while you were saying about what. So you got on with them guys really well straight away. You already sort of knew them a bit before you rode anyway. So did that
Right.
feel like
We
it
we
come
got
together?
together. We got together when the Motocross Des Nations was in Michigan, and I think out of those 11 or 12 years, we were the only complete team, and we all sat right together. Mike LaRocco and Jeff Emig and myself, um, signing autographs and stuff. It was a great weekend, and just great to see everybody there.
Did you? Ben's obviously mentioned as well. He said, did you ship the Honda over, or was it locally sourced bikes? Because I know obviously a lot of the guys normally get bikes from locally and get them all done, and maybe take their own suspension or
We
whatever. How did
shipped
that
our
happen?
own bike. I mean, that was the true works Honda, you know, with the variable triple clamps, and that was the same bike I'd ridden all year.
So what? How that must have been a special feeling winning that as well. And obviously, like you said, some of the press were saying whatever they were saying as well, and then to literally take the win and everything, it must have been pretty special for you guys.
Well, in a sport like this, you have to learn. People are going to say what they say, but
Yeah,
in the end, results are results, and they can take their comments and put them where they may, I guess. But we went with one thing in mind, and that was winning. And we were all extremely happy with the result, um, including the team manager, Roy Jansen. When I went to Michigan, shoot, he found me and hunted me down and talked to me for about 20 minutes. It's, you know, when we were all signing in to get our passes and stuff. Just great memories.
yeah, for sure. Awesome times. We've got Jim's put. What did he think of the factory Kawasaki in '91? I think from memory, Johan Leitens, is that his mechanic? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, Johan Leighton, the Belgian.
Leighton.
when we got the bike, oh gosh, it was awful.
Was it?
Just it looked like they had took the 250 frame and just made the 500 engine fit it. Um, and they sent some parts over and things like that. But fortunately for me that year, um, we were using our engine from 1990 with the weighted crank like the Hondas used and stuff that we made ourselves. Um, but going through with the suspension and all, we made our own offset triple clamps like the Hondas had because as the way the bike came, I wasn't comfortable with it at all. So we made a different offset set of triple clamps. Of course, we were using our engine from 1990, and we actually changed some of the rear suspension as well, the link ratio and things like that. Um, and in the end, I mean, my bike looked like David's and everybody else's, but it was nowhere near the same other than the appearance.
Yeah, quite a few people were asking me about that. Was it similar to Maitland and Thorpe's bike and stuff like that?
I mean,
Interesting.
that was a hard bike to ride. I mean,
Mm,
being, average height and build, the bike seemed to suit someone that was much larger, like David's. And we made quite a few changes that year to put it
mm,
together and make me comfortable with it.
nice. I got Patrick Corrigan here. Ask him if the Race of Champions in New Jersey collision at the flagpole was planned.
Absolutely not, because that was one of the hairiest rides uh, I think I'd ever crashed, but not crashed. I mean, I was completely off the bike, come down out of the racetrack beside the bike, hanging onto the handlebars, and was able to get it stopped to get my leg back over it to get across the finish line. But no, I think, I was doing a double jump on an 80 that Mickey wasn't doing, and I would had to go wide to do it. And when he came inside, I mean, he come under me and took the bike completely out from under me. So I was surprised he stayed on as well because quite a quite an experience.
I think I got.
When you look at that picture, we're probably 10 feet off the ground,
Yeah,
and yeah, it was a pretty harrowing experience.
it sounds like everyone's not forgotten about it either.
No, that was those were good times. So that was when I was young and I guess unscared. Well, not scared of anything really.
Yeah, yeah. I've got some cool pictures here. Well, I'm hoping they're all you anyway because I've seen some people post them up. I've got some nice ones here. I've got this one here as well. Hoping this is you.
Yeah, that was back. Gosh, I think I was 11 years old. That was a 350 twin Yamaha. It was a mile, half mile short track bike that you can tell by looking at the helmet and stuff. I mean, I probably think I was 11 years old. Great,
Nice.
great memory.
Yeah, yeah. Did you ever try like the Speedway or anything like that? Any other motorcycle versions of the sport?
Oh gosh, I mean, I was a two-time short track and two-time TT champion in the AMA amateur support division, which was back in 1977, and then in 19, gosh, 79 was the year that I won all of the championships in the NMA at Ponca City. In 1980, I went to Team Green, and that's where Team Green began with myself and a kid named Keith Turpin from Georgia.
I got some nice pictures of the Team Green times and all that as well. I got one there, a nice one.
Yeah, that would have been what, 80, 84?
Love the number 12. Love the number 12. That was my old number as well. I love that.
Yeah.
Nice one there. Is that the old team card things that they did? What was that? What was that bike like, Billy?
That, well, in what was it, 83 was a great bike. That was just kind of a version, built off of the 83 base. And we started the year with the drum rear brake, but I had a bad habit of dragging it for suspension to help the thing handle, and I was actually breaking the drum liners loose from the brake drum. So the next week, we spent a week testing at Saddleback Park in California and adapted a disc brake on the rear that season. And those wheels we were using were sand cast, so they had a life of about 2 events. So we would use the wheel and pitch it away and put a new one in. And we had to really keep up with the wheels because if we didn't, they would just disintegrate, after about 4 hours of riding.
Oh yeah, had to keep on top of that then. See Jeff Ward there as well. Did you get on well with Jeff Ward?
Oh yeah, Jeff he was quite a character. I mean, super friendly, nice. My first trip to California, he invited me out. I stayed at his house in California. The first trip or two out there, just settling in and just learning my way around with the team. Super guy. Goat Brecker was great. Kent Howerton, quite a character as well.
Plenty of characters in there. I've got Steve Douglas as well. It's just put. I remember the massive first turn crash at Fox Hill in '93. I'm gathering you were part of that.
Oh yeah. Well, if you can't get a start, it's hard to come from the back with the talent that's out there, and it's worth the risk. Sometimes it doesn't always pay off.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
What did you think of Fox Hill, Billy? Because that's basically my hometown track, Fox Hill. So obviously I see all the GPs there in the '90s and a lot of epic ones there. What was your thoughts on the track?
It was a good track. I mean, it seemed to be a lot of fast people there. Just, and I'm not calling it a simpler layout, but just the terrain and all seemed to be easier to master than like what you run across at Hawkstone Park and things like that. Which Hawkstone, you'd come by one lap and the line would be inside, come by the next lap, it'd be on the outside. Things seem to move a lot more and change. And with Fox Hill, the lines, it was limited if you were fast to where you could ride and be. And that made it a little harder to make your passes and things like that.
Mm, yeah, quite a lot of the riders were all flat out there, wasn't it? It's not in the classes, like you said, back it was so stacked as well. With like you said, if you didn't really make a sort of top 10 start, it was very hard to
It's
pass
next to
over.
impossible to get there.
Yeah, exactly that. Everyone's flat out and gone. I got Leon here. He's put, "Hi Billy. Do you know that Herman's son, your old mechanic, is in the top of the MX2 World Championship?"
I did not.
Ah,
That's when we get done with this, I'm gonna start doing some searching and
yeah,
following up.
yes, catching up on some new information. I've got someone who has no name on this one, but they put, "Can you ask Billy how he started racing in Europe? How did the changeover from America to Europe come about?"
Oh gosh, in 86, I signed a deal and Cowie Ron Lachine had gotten dumped from the Honda team and Cowie wanted to add him and the only way they could add him was to eliminate a rider. And they were talking with me and I wasn't the best of relationship with my team manager. Um, and they pretty much told me, hey, we're going to pay your contract off. You can stay home for this season. So I kind of went behind the lines a little bit and made Kawasaki agree to give me the works suspension, because basically that year they were running modified production bikes, and kind of set out on my own and had a decent year. I think I was fifth in the 250 class, sixth in the or fifth in the 500 class, sixth in the 250 nationals. I was like, oh gosh, about 10th or 11th in Supercross that year on totally production based with work suspension. Worked a lot that year with Mitch Payton, setting up engines and things like that. And end of the season, I was offered a chance to come to Europe and race at a track in Italy near the Leaning Tower of Pisa, somewhere in that vicinity. And Eric Gabors, David Thorpe, several of the other Honda factory riders were there. And the Kawasaki importer brought me a works Kawasaki to ride. And after about an hour of discussing with him, I had him go back to the office and bring me a production Kawasaki that I had brought my suspension over for and put it on with an exhaust pipe. And we actually, I think, run second that day, kind of in between the Hondas, between Gabors and Thorpe. And the Italian importer asked if I'd stay an extra week, meet with him and stuff. And from there, that was Team Chinty and M. Robert Clothing. And we set up a deal that I would come in '87 and ride for them. We didn't have works bikes, but we had, good financial backing. Kawasaki was involved. And, it took me a year to learn the track, the travel, money, um, getting used to it all. And that year I won the Italian 500 championship and set us off in 90, eight. That's the year we had some purple bikes too, because that was their way of protesting some of the agreements and stuff. But we won a GP that year, and it taught me a lot those first 2 years being in Italy, and that's when I moved up to Belgium in '89 with Kawasaki still. But again, production based. We had a great season that year, and that led me into the deal with Johnson. I won one of the big superbike races that Johnson sponsored. Had a great season, and they kind of packaged that deal together. And in 1990, we took off with the Johnson sponsorship and had some great seasons.
I was going to ask you about the Johnson sponsorship because I was going to say, how did that come across? So that was a cool sponsor to get at that time. And like you said, you went through quite a few years with them as well.
Well, I think like in '89, I led the superbike race in Mete until the last lap, and somebody had fallen and left a big pile of gas on the asphalt. Went down, got up. I think I finished third. '90, I didn't get to ride it. That was the year I broke my femur. In '91, I come back and won it. Had a good season there in '92, and that was one of their biggest hometown events, and oh, it was a great group. Henri and a few of the boys that worked there, Jean Claude, just some great time.
Yeah, very cool. I've got that Martin Neary, the one that I showed you, the guy that I showed you the picture earlier with the two shirts that he had that I put up on the screen earlier. He's just come on now, Martin Neary's. But hi, Billy the Bullet. What was it like riding with the only foot peg? I presume he means only one foot peg in 1988 Italian 500 Grand Prix. Is that right?
Those things happen, That's where the clutch cover becomes as good a foot peg as you're going to have.
Jesus Christ.
It happens, and you can either give up and go home or make the best of a bad situation. And I don't know, I just never give up. You got to do what you got to do. And part of it too is learning how to ride sitting on the seat and seat bouncing, double jumps and all, which we did a lot in the Supercross. You had a jump that was 4 foot tall here and one 10 foot tall here. and there's no way you're going to make it on sheer speed. So you'd sit on the seat, bottom the suspension on the takeoff, and when it sprung back, it would lift you up and over. Uh, just one of those bad habits that you learn, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, he was definitely well known for always never giving up and always going for it. So that was part of the love that people had for you. I've got someone here, there's no name on it here, but they've put, I remember Billy would psych himself up before a race by listening to Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart. Is that
Sure,
true?
us country folk have to stick together, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Life is not always easy, and that was a song that come out, and it was really popular, and just I don't know, I seem to connect to it somehow.
Yeah, yeah. I still play, much to the detriment of my kids. I still play 80s and 90s music all the time now. I can't get past it, so I still do that now. I got Patrick Currigan. He's put, what happened to the Action Workshop Honda that you had?
All of those bikes were returned back to Eric Gabor's. Um, I guess at the end of the '91 season, he had made a deal, and a lot of that equipment stayed together there, with Eric, and that's how we were able to get it back in the '92 season. Um, I mean, we had some upgrades and some different things, but that was pretty much the same bike. The base of it was from the like 1990, 91, 92 season, and that was a solid machine. I mean, it
Yeah,
probably one of the best handling, power distribution overall that I'd ever ridden.
yeah, you definitely had some, obviously some great rides on that. I just had a picture here that I was looking at. That one looks like it's at the beginning of the season, maybe. Not sure. I think that might be Fox Hill, actually.
It's possible.
Yeah, looks like maybe one of them, maybe an international at the start of the year. Right, that's got a nice one there. How did you, what sort of age were you, Billy, then, when you sort of thought to yourself, I can make this as a career type of thing, obviously, when you were a youngster? Can you sort of remember what sort of timing around that time and age you were when you thought, I can make a career out of this?
I would say, gosh, it would have been, what was it, born in '63, somewhere around the 1977, 78, 16-year-old, and with Gowie, when I signed on with them in 1980, Dave Jordan, who was from Georgia, that was kind of overseeing everything. Again, myself and Keith Turpin were both Georgia riders. We signed on, and the whole plan was to develop, a base for the team to bring the riders in to the pro effort. And I pretty much had a good thought that if I could do my job, I would be in the factory team in the years to come. And I think it was 1982, midway of the season, when Tommy Benolkin got hurt, and they handed me the works bike, the next weekend and said, "Jurors, take off." And my first race on it was at Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. And again, I was excited. I pulled the whole shot, and run up front for 30 minutes of a 40-minute moto. But we had trouble with it would lose water. It only had the single radiator, and they had built a reservoir tank for an extra quarter water around the steering head. Um, and I finished one of those motos. I think I DNF'd. The other one, I think I managed to salvage and get a third out of it. So we went to Denver, Colorado the next weekend, and I was able to run in the top 3 or 4 on that bike the rest of the season. And that was kind of our base for the 1983 bike, which came with 2 radiators and not one, which gave it a lot more water capacity and really solve that problem.
Mm.
The reservoir they built that went around the steering would get so hot it would melt all the grease out of the steering, and it would become dial-less steering. I mean, it would get
Very
loose.
tough,
And
yeah.
our best way to fix that in a quick dilemma was we put a grease fitting in it and we filled the whole neck of the frame up with grease so that it would last the whole moto so you could finish with steering.
Wow, that was a bit crazy there.
Got to do what you got to do.
Gotta do what you gotta do, Billy, and all that. Look at talking about legends. Mr. Stefan Evans has just come on and said, "What's up, Billy?"
Just hanging out, getting old, and enjoying life. We, gosh, I work 5 days a week, spend my weekends with my wonderful wife, and keeping up the house. We have an acre of land out of the city, but we're still close to it. It's quite a task. And the lady I bought it from was a horticulturist, so there's all kinds of trees that got to be trimmed and cut. It's kind of like working for a living, but it's fun.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, but obviously Stefan's flat out with his son Liam's now racing obviously all over the world. So he's been doing really well. So it's been interesting to follow his career as well.
That's awesome. I mean, I actually have two girls, and one, um, she's actually working in the automotive industry at one of the dealerships, and my other had joined the Navy, and she's back home now, and have a grandchild as well. Young and early days, but it's kind of neat, to see, of course, Carrie Everett, Stefan, and
Mm,
now his son. That's
mm,
quite a legacy.
mm. And he's doing well. He's come over, and this year, since the COVID sort of got not so bad, Liam was coming over and racing a couple of British Championships as well. So it's good to see him over. He come to Box Hill as well this year, so that was good to see as well. Yeah, so yeah, he's doing well. He's in the
He's
been
got
riding
some
all year.
great knowledge before him to learn from, for sure.
Yes. Oh, Ben's just piped up and said Stefan was on the 125 in that Australian Nations as well. Who was the fastest 125 stroke 500 moto?
Well, I know if I go back and look, I think Larocco had a 2-1. I think Emick, I don't remember, but I mean, they were all fast. Stefan was fast anywhere he went.
Mm,
I mean, there was
mm,
just no backing down on that. But that particular weekend, Emick, he was on his game. I mean, the kid, he won championships. He won a stadium championship. He could ride. And, that was in the peak of his career. Um, I'll have to say on that particular weekend, I'm going to go with Jeff Emmy.
I like that. Yeah, you just got that. You just got. Oh, hang on. He's put. Ben's put. Who was the fastest out of Billy and Stefan?
Depending on which weekend it was and where we were at,
Yeah.
Stephen was an awesome talent. A gentleman, very respectful. Um, he, gosh, he was just such an awesome character. I mean, he didn't have, he had a great attitude, great friend, just, awesome.
Yeah. Ben mentioned that because I remember that old start line that went sort of down slightly into the valley, and it was flat out that start that you had the big crash. I think that was one of the reasons, and he's mentioned it as well, that they changed the actual start layout, and then they ended up going over the other side. And yeah, so that was the beginning of the end of that start. It was it was crazy fast. I remember that. I've got Steve Douglas here has put. I remember leaving Farley one night in 1987 with Billy, who was driving Steve Goodyear's brand new Porsche because he needed groceries, and I was local. So we went to the supermarket, and he drove most of the way on the right hand side of the road. He was wild on a bike, and he was even worse in a car, and it was effing scary.
I
Oh,
still don't know
brilliant!
how y'all drive on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, it's
Oh,
an
brilliant!
experience. Every time I get in my car when I was in England to leave and go somewhere, it's
Yeah,
like everything was backwards. And
yeah, yeah.
I know when we were with the team there with Alec Wright, I actually bought a Ford Escort station wagon, right side drive, left hand manual shift. Uh, that made it a lot easier because if I sat on the left, I tried to stay on the right side of the road. So, I know I just went and got a little just inexpensive car to get around for the season. Um, it worked out well. Life lessons.
Scott Bowman put, I've still got the Johnson graphics all on my bikes. Still look now. They still look awesome 30 years later.
Hey, that was just a great color scheme, especially being
Mm,
an American. It was red, white, and blue.
yeah.
Um, I mean, it was, again, those were some of the greatest years, with AXO and
Mm.
everybody that was involved. Even John from Action Workshop, he was quite a character.
I got. I remember this. I actually watched this interview earlier on. Actually, Martin's mentioned it here. I actually watched the video of it. So I remember when it's put. Does Billy remember the Motorvision interview before the final race of the '92 Swiss GP? You were between Joe Bay and Nichols battle. You said, "I might, to piss everyone off, I might just sit in the truck and leave it up to Kurt and George. I'm in the middle of a tire war."
And that's true. I mean,
Mm,
at that point, my my goal is every weekend was to go out and
mm,
wasn't, to run fifth or run second. I went every weekend to win.
mhm,
Um, I didn't want to get in between their battle and
mm,
stuff. But, I was there to win the race. I could care less, you know, at that point who won
mm,
what. Uh,
yeah.
Kurt and I were quite good friends. We played a lot of squash or racquetball, whatever you want to call it, together. Because he actually lived in Alternhout in the town I lived in Belgium. And once every other week or so, we were playing squash together and together on the weekends. We'd go out to dinner once in a while. Great character, good friend. Uh, like I said, that was just a weekend that I could care less. I couldn't go anywhere. I mean, I was stuck. If I won both motos, I still couldn't win the championship.
Yeah,
And I was there to win the race if I could, and other than that, let them have their battle. That was their war, not mine.
yeah, yeah. They were. I think it was something to do with it because I think Kurt needed someone to get in between. He couldn't just win and Joe Bay come second twice. I think that was what it was, wasn't
Yeah, it was. Yeah, somebody had to get between them as well. And on that weekend, right before the mechanics area, there was like a left off camber up into the mechanics area,
it? Mm,
and I raised my head up, and about the time I got looking forward, a rock come through a full face helmet and caught me on the left eyelid and opened up about a 4-inch gash in my eyelid, and it fell over. So I couldn't see but out of one eye.
mm,
And when I pulled up into the mechanics area, my mechanic was standing there, and bless his heart, he looked at my goggles and they were about half full of blood. And he about fell over. Somebody else had to come grab the bike. I got off of it, took, my helmet off and stuff. And needless to say, I went back to the hospital there at the track. They sewed it up. And, we went on that evening to the Joe Bay party and stuff. About 6 stitches and an eyelid here and stuff. And
not good.
they earned the championship. They weren't given it. So, it's
Yeah,
pay your respects and for the job they did.
yeah. I remember this season as well because I've been watching the season review on the tape the other day, and obviously that season here, look, in '90, struck away, streaked away straight away at the start of the championship that year. It must have been very gutting when you had that injury, because I think you stayed in the top five for a hell of a long time in the points, even after being injured for a good few rounds. So
I think
that year was,
I think I only lost, I don't know, by so many points, but I stayed in the lead a couple of rounds,
mm,
and I still finished in the top five, I think it was. It was devastating because I mean that was pretty much my year. As long as I could stay, up in the top three or four every weekend, I
yeah,
should have been able to attain that year. And it's a cruel world.
yeah, definitely, yeah, that was definitely your year that year. There was wasn't it a big? There was a big sort of bomb hole thing that was they sort of did, didn't they? Didn't they cut the part of the track out after you had the accident there? Because I was watching it in the video.
They did what it
Yeah.
was in Italy.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
I had won a race back in what 87, 88. There, it was an international race, just one of the chances you get to go and ride some of the track. And it went up this big mountain uphill, and you would turn and drop down. It was about a 50-foot drop off jump. Well, for the GP, they went up and made about a 30-yard straightaway that comes straight into the drop off.
mm,
And I had hit a bump really hard before I got there. And I was already starting to go over the handlebars at the top of the jump. And when
it was
we
big,
hit the
wasn't
bottom of it, I landed upside down, still at the bottom of the hill going downhill, but the bike landed on my leg and it
it?
just
Yeah.
snapped it right in two.
Yeah, I literally watched a video the other
Unfortunate.
day of that season. It looked a massive drop off, wasn't it?
It was, and
Mm,
you really can't. I mean, it was unsafe. I mean, we had talked about it before the race and told them they needed to put the curve where you would turn and drop off
you slow down, yeah.
instead of having a 20, 30-yard run at it on a 500 to
Mm,
brake and slow down to, you know, probably what, 15 miles an hour. And when you
mm,
dropped, I mean, you dropped 30 or 40 feet, even at that speed before you hit the ground. And it's unfortunate. I mean, it was as much probably my fault as anybody's because,
mm,
I was there to win the race. I wasn't going to worry about the track. We all had to ride the same facility. So
mm. Yeah,
bad luck.
yeah. I got a interesting couple of questions that Ben's just put up. He's put, was the plan for Billy to race the British Championship in '92 before Kurt and Dave Thorpe protested it?
Um, I never really heard that much about, all of that.
Mm,
It's like our championship here, it's the American Championship, but
mm,
it's open to anybody that wants to come and ride it. And, in Belgium, they had started that as well. I was the 87 Italian national champion.
mm,
Luxembourg, we didn't have one. Um, and then I won the Belgian national championship in 1992, that year on the Honda as well. And, I mean, those are just, I guess, quality memories of winning, national championships from different countries. The best I did here, I think, was third in the United States, fourth one year, third one year, had a fifth and a sixth. Stadium was a little tougher. I mean, I think my best season in stadium was top 10. But I was a little more reckless in those days inside than I was out.
mm. Um, Ben's asked, I remember some of them things about this, the Gerald Delapine thing. He put, can Billy comment on rumours that Joe Bay employed Gerald Delapine to try and get in the way of his rivals at some of the races in '92?
I never heard that, but
Mm,
I mean, I wouldn't think so. I mean, Joe Bay had enough talent to do what he did on his own. He didn't need any help.
mm. He's definitely multi-world champion for a reason. Who was your sort of closest rivals in your career that Billy that you actually enjoyed racing with? The guys that you enjoyed racing with toe to toe.
I would have to say here in the U.S., would have been Ricky Johnson and Ronnie Lachine. We were kind of that same age group. We had some killer battles, certain times of the year. Uh, David Bailey was one that sticks out, was a classic character as well. As far as, being in Europe, I would have to say Eric DeBoers, Joe Bay, Kurt Nickel, and, Kurt and I had a great relationship off the track as well. I really remember those days.
Yeah, I've got what was you had some good battles as well with Mr. Martins. Did you get on with Jackie Martins all right?
Oh yeah, Jackie, and he had a great friend, Johan Boonen.
Hmm.
Used to practice a lot at Johan's track there, that Johan had as well. But Jackie was a great guy. I mean, super nice, very likable, uh, tall as heck. He could sure ride the heck out of them KTM's, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely, that's for sure. Yeah, I remember that well as well. I got a nice picture of you there. I think that's at Namur, I think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Namur.
you took
That's
that.
it looks like Gabors, and that would have been what 89, 1989.
You really enjoyed that track as well.
Yeah, I love that racetrack. I mean, I had mixed results there, but
Mm.
just being amongst the people, the asphalt parts of the track, um, it was a unique place. I mean, the atmosphere there was great.
Yeah, it's a shame they don't get to use that now. I would love to have gone there, for sure. This is that I've got that Patrick that we've had on tonight. He's got a couple of your helmets here. Look, there we go.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
Troy Lee Design. He was an awesome character. I met him early in my career as well, and he could flat make a helmet look good. That's for sure.
yeah, for sure. So it's very cool there that he's got that there, and I've got also someone as well. I'm just looking for the pictures that someone has actually messaged me today to say they've got your Motocross the Nations winning helmet as well. Um, that was it. It was Leon that come on earlier. It's just his put his
Right.
name up there, look. And there's in the top right hand corner with the number one on. He's got your Motocross the Nations winning helmet.
And the other
He
one,
also said it.
the other helmet I had sat in a Suzuki shop here in Gastonia, North Carolina for years. The shop's since closed and I'm sure they packed it away, but I'm going to try to track it back down and since they closed the shop and get that one back. Um,
Yeah,
but I've got a set of gear stored away somewhere that I've got promised to a Billy Ghostkey. We bought a house about 2 years ago, and somewhere in the move, I still haven't got to that box and got it unpacked yet. But I've still got one set of the gear left that when I run across it, I've got it promised out to a fella here in the U.S.
brilliant. Yeah, I've seen him on Facebook. That Billy. He's got a lot of stuff. I saw that. I've got some cool little advertisements here. Look, back in the day, there's one there. Look for O'Neill, I think.
O'Neill,
There's you on the left. On the left in the Kawasaki. Look.
yeah, I believe Scott Burnworth and a couple of other riders there.
I've got another one here as well.
EP, the guys out of Las Vegas. That would have been, I think, the '86 season.
Very cool. Love checking some of these older ones out. Really good. There's another one here as well. It's going back in it. It's nice. It's to see these ones that we can find online. It's a great thing about the internet. What's going on here? Look.
Yeah, that's our Kawasaki Race of Champions in Englishtown. Yep,
Right, okay.
the VIP jersey from the local dealer.
Yeah, yeah.
And oh, it was great. I mean, even I went back, I think we were there, what, 80, 81, 82, um, 83. I mean, I was there 5 or 6 years. And then one of my first years in Europe when I was with the Italian team, I went up one more year. I think that was 80, 87 was my last year there. But great group of guys. I mean, had a great program, and just, that weekend was all about Kawasaki and everything with, the dealership there and just that great group of guys.
I think someone said this picture here on the Kawasaki was Farley Castle, so you got to race Farley Castle. What did you think of Farley?
It was different. I mean, all natural terrain, real hard ground. Um,
Mm.
I liked it, because it was kind of out in the open. It's a good track and had some, tight parts in the back that were hilly, challenging for sure.
I've just got a couple of the guys now asking me some questions off the back of that. So Leon said that he has the helmet from Herman, so that's how he got the helmet. That was your
Yeah,
mechanic,
we
yeah?
had to, and Herman deserved a helmet out of that weekend for sure.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yes, someone's put here that obviously it's an awesome era of two-stroke racing and everything that everyone still reminisces. Even now, everyone's racing all the two-strokes and these Evo events and everything in the UK as well. But he's put, what's Billy's thought about today's four-strokes and the inevitable electric bikes that look like they're on the way as well?
I love the four strokes. I mean, I think it was inevitable with the development of them and the things, a 450 is every bit competitive with a 500 two-stroke. And in some track, I would think they're easier to ride just because the linear horsepower with the torque that they have, and with, I guess titanium and parts and things like that, the RPMs they can turn, you know, back in the day, if it went over what 7,500 RPM, it wasn't going to stay together long. Um, but just the development in the sport as far as electric goes, they can have that. I'm even against electric cars. I mean, I've got to
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
the sound, the feel
yeah,
that something's there, vibrant and alive.
yeah.
My thoughts are over the next year or two to go and get me one more new truck, one more new car before it goes electric, and live with it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not keen on that either. I see a car went past me not that long ago. I was walking along and an electric car went past me. Like you said, you didn't even hear it. It was like weird,
Well,
very
you got
weird.
to look too. I mean, I'm not uh, an expert at the environment, but
Mm,
you're going to do away with some of your emissions, yet look at the battery cores that you're going to start dumping into the ground and killing your
mm.
soil and the food. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to make much more of a comment than that. But, all the acid plates and everything. I mean, how are you going to dispose of all that and keep your ground fertile to grow food and things like that?
Yes, we'll just put F the electric. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
I
keen.
agree with that. I'm not a
Yeah,
fan at all.
no, no, no. I'm with you on that one. I'm not keen on that at all. Don't mind the four strokes and everything, but not the electric.
Well,
But
they're
it
going to
does look
take
like it's going
away
away.
all the sound of the environment, and when you're racing, I mean, even when they come out with the decibel levels and stuff, you could still make a bike run with low decibel output. It was a challenge, but they did it. I mean, our Hondas were quiet,
Mm,
but they had a ton of horsepower.
mm, yeah. I've got Ben Piggins put after the '92 season. What deal did you have to race in the '93 season in 500s, or was the 250 deal a lot more lucrative money wise?
Um, you know, at that point, everything was going to the 250s. It seemed like a lucrative deal. On the backside of it, I should have stayed with the 500s and rode out, you know, the last 2 or 3 years there. Um, you know, I felt I could ride anything, and moving to the 250 class, um, you know, it was a challenge in one way, but I didn't think I would struggle fighting with the motorcycle as much as I did. And I think a lot of that was just the base of the team and where we were at. We were put kind of in a tight shoebox, and we couldn't make the changes we needed to make the bike, in my opinion, more versatile for me versus, you know, it was just, this is what you got, this is what we're going to run. We didn't have a lot of choice in that, you know.
Mhm.
I didn't think I would be hemmed up so much in the box I was put in.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So you was glad to get back on the 500 then?
Oh yeah, and you know, even coming back, you know, with George, um,
Mm.
we had the versatility to modify and make it work for what we needed to. And you know, I think I finished what, fourth that year in the standings on a pure production bike that, you know, I just showed up. I think we started riding them about a week before the first Grand Prix, but
Wow.
we were able to do what we needed to do and make it fit my style of riding versus, you know, the other riders that were with us.
I've got some nice older ones here. I've got
Ooh, 1983. Well, that was, yeah, the 1983 KX250.
nice. Check that pipe out as a nice old pipe.
Yeah, and that was a single down tube frame 84. That was an awesome year.
Got some found some. Been doing some
KX80.
been doing some digging.
That would
Yeah.
have been at Englishtown, New Jersey. That looks like Lake Whitney, Texas. My first national win that year.
I like that terrain there. There's some nice berms there.
Yeah, it was a nice track.
Mm.
Um, very nice. Wow.
It says 83, I think it says on the side of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 83.
Got a nice one of the bike there as well.
Work Kawasaki.
So that bike was good.
That was the year, like I said, that Malin and Thorpe had them. That's the one
Yeah,
that we had done a lot of changes on there.
yeah, yeah.
The triple clamps on it, you know, and we had changed some of the suspension ratio in the back. Uh, like I said, it took us a while, but we actually had it to where it turned out to be a good motorcycle for sure.
Ben just said, what does Billy remember from that national win in '83?
Gosh, I had a slipping clutch that day. We had, you know, made some upgrades to the motor. The clutch was slipping that day just a little bit, um, under full throttle, and pretty much 2 days. Both motos, I came from probably a 30th place start to the front, and I guess the biggest memory was the second moto. When I got into second place, I was like, I don't know, 15 seconds behind David Bailey with
Mm.
4, maybe 5 laps to go. And by the end of the race, I had passed him and I won the moto by about 30 seconds. Again, that was one of them epic 100-degree days, 100%
Mm.
humidity. That's what I grew up in, and it wear them boys out. California was nice, sunny all the time, warm, but 100 degrees and 100% humidity. Those were
Sounds
the
your day.
days.
Yeah, that suited you. I got a couple of nice ones. I think this one here was at you rode a British Championship. I think it's at Ling Sand Track in the UK. You whole shot in there. Someone said to me that apparently you had to qualify to ride or something along them lines. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
Uh,
'Cause it
Not
looks like you're on
that
Honda
I
there.
remember, but
Yeah.
that's an unusual photo for me to be out front on the start, though.
Yeah, getting the whole shot there.
Oh
Normally have to
gosh.
come through the back. Normally have
I
to
mean,
get your charge through the back.
yeah, I mean, most of the time, if I got off in the top five, I was happy.
Yeah. So like,
Oh wow, 81. We were running. That was an air cooled Kawasaki that RPM had built me. Water cooled jacket kit. It didn't have a pump on it, but that was what that be looks like the 1981, 82 season, somewhere around there. Uh, Rodney Barr on a Yamaha, local South Carolinian, uh, super fast.
was it? Like that setup as well. I just love the whole green helmet.
It's called out of tear offs.
Yeah, rub your eye.
Uh, Looks like a practice track somewhere out west.
Did you have many when you raced, Billy? Did you have many superstitions back then when you raced?
Uh, Not usually, other than the fact that you always put your left boot on first when you got dressed. I
Yeah,
don't
you had
know but yeah, that was one of them. Uh, Tried to stay away from all the creepy things you could think about.
Ben knows all his stats. He's just saying that he looked up. Billy was second overall to Bob Hanna in the 1986 US 250 GP. Was this a useful result in getting a GP ride for 87?
You know, uh, I'm not 100% sure. I know that when we went over, they knew the Italians. They knew of my career and they knew who I was. But I think they just the way I rode the production bike that day versus, you know, they thought, wow, we maybe we could bring this kid over and have some good luck. And again, my connections with Cowie, gave us some inlets to maybe not some of the factory parts, but I had a lot of the information, um, to help and build those bikes with and stuff like that. Which again, it worked out great for us. And Bob Hanna, uh, he was stunning as a rider, even a great person. He had a fetish for Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches, which the main restaurant was in Georgia. They were only open Monday through Saturday. They were closed Sunday because of his religious beliefs. And Bob spent a lot of time in Atlanta with one of the welding shops. They used to fabricate and do some stuff for the bike. I don't know if it was off book or whatever, but this particular shop uh, that he hung out at. And when he came to Atlanta, he needed a place to ride. And he asked me where I practiced. And it happened to be about 5 minutes from where he kind of stayed when he was there. And I used to get calls like on a Wednesday evening. He said, "Hey, are you coming to press day, Friday in Seattle for the Kingdom Supercross?" And I'd say, "Sure." He goes, "Well, can you go by Chick-fil-A for me?" and their number one store was the exit past the Atlanta airport. So I would go through, and again, they were open 24 hours a day, Monday through Saturday. And I'd pull in there, about 2 hours before my plane left. I'd go to the back door, and they'd cart out this, I don't know, 3 foot by 3 foot box full of Chick-fil-A chicken, roped together, taped up, ceramic wrapped or, plastic wrapped with a handle on it. I'd check it as luggage. And when I get to
Brilliant.
the press day, Hannah would come to the back door of my car and open it up, throw me 6 or 8 boxes of chicken out, and take off with the rest of it. Just cool days. Hannah, like I said, he was the first one in '83 to the back of my truck to congratulate me. And a guy of his fame
Yeah.
and history with racing. I mean, it was a memorable moment for me, and got a great respect for the guy. Super,
Yeah.
super guy.
Yeah. That was awesome. Martin Nearest has put, what did it feel like winning your first ever race in 1988 San Marino Grand Prix on the purple yellow Kawasaki? Is that right?
That's right. That was the purple color of protest in Italy. I don't know. Something was going on between Cowie and M. Robert and them, and never been much of a politician. Tried to stay out of it. Just ride the purple bike and be happy. Um, Again, that was a track that suited me in the sense that it was concrete, hard, blue groove, like dirt track racing. And I had some decent starts that day, but again, it was another one of them super hot, humid days. And I remember I don't think I won a moto that day. I think I was two third places, but the way they'd win one and finish seventh in the Moto 2, and the way it all fell through. Um, but that was a great memory. I mean, that was a complete production based motorcycle, in the days when the factories were still heavily involved.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. I bet I did miss this earlier. I do apologise, Erling. He did ask this earlier, and I went past it. I missed it out. He's put, can you ask Billy why in '94 you had to use the bike Jobe used for '93 Supermotard? Is that right? That was when they were sponsored by Belgicom. It was probably a used bike he had to use. Is that right? Do you know?
Well, most of our equipment that year was new. Again, Ari, the Finnish mechanic I was talking about, had signed on with Joe Bay. Um, and again, we had access to certain things, but that was totally a production based motorcycle. Um, and as far as it being used, I mean, everything we got that year was new that we all put together and built, you know, as a conglomerate of, front forks from Marzocchi, and, we had good suspension and stuff like that. But, those were all built from total production base.
Someone I'm not sure who's put that. They put, "Do you remember Alvis, your mechanic?" I'm not sure who's put
Absolutely.
that.
Robin
you have a
Walters.
you have a good relationship with him?
Oh yeah, we had a great year. He super guy, Doc Wobbly, I think they called him. He always had kind of bobbled
Yeah.
around.
Yes, Doc Wob. Yeah, we know.
That would be
I've
him.
just got, yeah. Doc Wobby's famous over here. Um, I've just got someone's saying about the thing about Kurt and Thorpe when they were. I think it was about you taking away potential British Championship points at the time. Someone said it was going to be you couldn't score points and it was at Canada Heights. I remember everyone knows the Canada Heights track in the UK. I don't know if you actually got to race that day or you just couldn't score points. Is
I
that right?
think I did race that day, but yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed. We weren't given points. I think I do remember that. Again, I was there to ride the motorcycle. I tried to stay out of the politician
Yeah.
side of it.
Yeah. A bit annoying. I've got a question myself that I had that What track stroke event that you rode at do you remember was the best atmosphere that you ever raced in yourself? What would you have said that was?
Oh gosh. I mean,
Mm, quite a few, I'd imagine.
yeah, you know, I just remember, the crowd in Namur in
Mm,
Belgium. I remember, at Hawkstone Park was a great crowd. Those two, I guess, stood out, because the tracks being so big. I mean, the whole course would be lined. Even like at Hawkstone, you'd get up in the woods at the top of the hills, just packed, with
yeah.
people. And, those two places, I guess they seem to bed more in your mind because they were so close to the track as well.
Mm, yeah, definitely. Back then as well, wasn't it? You had to get quite close. What was sort of the best sort of atmospheres in America? The sort of tracks that were the best sort of atmosphere over there. Someone mentioned that Billy rode his best race at the Unadilla as well. Someone put.
Unadilla was unique in its own retrospect. I mean, you would show up
Mm,
there at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, and I mean, people lined the hills camping. Some guys up 20, 30 foot up in a tree in the campground with speakers playing the AC/DC Highway to Hell at 7 o'clock in the morning, just echoing through the valley. And, you know, that was all in all, a super racetrack, completely natural terrain. Uh, and again, I had some great events there. I won of course, I was second in '86 that year behind Hannah, and I won the last Trans USA race they had there. Um, when the Trans USA series was on and stuff in '82, I won that last event there that year. And again, it's a track that would remind me a lot of Hawkstone Park with the hills, uphill, downhill, the lines changing, the roughness. Uh, I don't know. I just seemed to do really well the rougher the terrain and the more unpredictable that it was. I mean, dude, I can remember, as an American winning the national in Lake Whitney, Texas. I mean, I come from a background of hard blue groove motocross tracks, kind of like
mm,
Fox Hill.
mm,
And gosh, I won my first national in the USA on a sand track in Whitney. Uh, Falcons Hawkstone Park, and not being known for a stand rider like the Belgians and things like that. And yet, I don't think I lost many Grand Prix in the sand. I mean, you look at, again, Hawkstone Park, Valkenswaard. I mean,
mm.
even in Finland, I never won there, but I was always close to the podium, on the podium somewhere, uh, and stuff like that. It just, was a challenge to me to be good where I wasn't supposed to be.
Mm. But you seem to take to it well.
Nothing's ever easy. You got to work
No,
for it.
exactly. You were well known for your no fear, all out. Do you think that helped that on the rougher tracks where people would be, a bit more cautious? Or
Yeah, I think my attack program was more to go at it hard and, not to think about what could happen, just deal with it when it did, which meant you were hanging on a lot of times,
yeah.
and, but it seemed to work well for me.
Ben put, I was at Hawkstone in '91. Bet Billy definitely should have won, but the bike broke.
Yeah, that was another one of those, bike breakdowns. And again, it's part of racing. You're pushing everything, the equipment, the performance levels of it. Yeah, I think we were 2 or 3 laps from the end when that thing finally broke down. And it was disappointing because that, again, was just that was a tough year. And I don't know, it just disappointing to be that close to winning one and not getting there.
Ben put, he must have had no fear as he went round the Moor in 91 in the last race with no front brake. Insane.
That's where the dirt track experience comes in. Pitch it sideways and hope it stays.
Just flat out. Love that. Someone also mentioned as well Southwick. That's a sand track in New England. Yeah, I've seen that on the American. Did you
Yeah,
enjoy that as
Southwick,
well? Yeah.
that's a notorious sand track. And
Ooh.
my first year there, which would have been 1982, um, you know, everybody is telling me, get a good start and just hang on, you know.
Ooh.
And that was my first experience up there. But again, I always seem to run in the top five up there as well. But you know, I'd get good starts, and first of the race, you might let two or three, four people by you, but before the end of the race, they'd fall or you know just be worn out. And you know, there was just being about consistent, steady, and keep your speed.
Yeah, definitely. I had. What would you say was the best atmosphere that you've actually been in that you've watched at, Billy? Not actually raced. Can you think of anywhere where you were watching? It was a great atmosphere that you watched.
Um, I would, you know, have to say, as far as watching events, would have been, you know, some of the, gosh, late 70s, early 80s, the Atlanta Supercross. Just remember a couple of the nights it being so muddy that half the bikes didn't finish. Watching Barnett
Hmm.
win, you know, in a track you couldn't hardly walk around, much less ride around, and to watch him, you know, pull out an event there, just the Atlanta crowd, you know, of course, being from there too was a big plus. But you know, that stadium event every year was packed solid. And back in the late 70s, early 80s, we had a ton of riders, amateur riders that attended the event. Uh, you know, it's just a big time in the hometown.
Do you personally enjoy riding the actual Supercross yourself?
I I liked the Supercross. You know, and again, I had some great events at some weird places in Supercross as well. But I think my biggest downfall in Supercross was not consistently being a whole shot guy. I mean, I was tickled if I got around the turn in the top five. You know, and again, I some of the best Supercrosses I had were Dallas, Texas, which is like on a ice slick terrain. You know, I came from, you know, 20th place starts to like fourth and fifth places there. I mean, I don't know, it was tracks that seemed to be difficult terrain that I seemed to do really well at. You know, I won some heat races, you know, in the 83, 84 season. And again, it was all about, wasn't that I couldn't run in the top five. I just couldn't put the starts together and seem to fight with, you know.
Yeah, you had the pace, but you needed to start as well. So, so did you always prefer the motocross side of the sport?
I like the outdoor side of it better because when I went to the starting line, I would choose a place to get, you know, a good start, but also if something went wrong, I would try to allow for that secondary of, you know, being able to get through the turn and stay up and stay out of the pile ups and things like that. Uh, you know, and it, because of, you know, my mediocre starts, I looked at things that way and would try to logically figure out the best way to get there and get through the turn.
Like a plan B for the turn.
Yeah,
I like that. So that's a good question. Someone's on the YouTube put, who gave you the nickname the Bullet?
that would have
No?
been the Larry Myers. not Larry
Yeah,
Myers,
Larry, yeah.
the
Oh, he was
voice of
commentating.
Supercross. I can't his
Yeah,
name,
I know you're
uh,
about.
but he come up with it. My first trip out west to Anaheim.
Okay, nice. And you threw it out there, and it stuck. That was cool. Obviously, a lot of the riders had a lot of injuries throughout. What was the sort of the worst injuries that you sort of had that obviously held you back? You know about that year that you would have. We think you would have won the title that year as well. What were the sort of big injuries that you had?
That was probably the biggest. Was just breaking my femur. Most of the rest of it was, dislocating fingers, a separated shoulder. None of that really ever kept me from continuing to compete the next weekend. Uh, I don't know, that broken leg was, a broken season, really.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and then to come back, I guess what would be in February to run the race in the south of France there. Everybody's looking at one event to say either he's going to be competitive or not competitive, and to come back that year and run second in the south of France, was not. It was a great relief to everybody around me, but to me, it was just another event, and I never really realized that they put so much emphasis on one race because it was my first race back. You know, well, this is going to tell us if he's going to be competitive or not. And that thought never crossed my mind. I mean, it's a broke leg. I mean, I was walking, I don't know, 10 days after they fixed it because it was pinned. Um, yeah, that's just the thought that never crossed my mind.
Mm, yeah. Oh, I've just got Wayne Davis. It's just put. Is it Dave to Spain? Is that how you pronounce that?
Dave Despain was another one, but I'm trying to think. He's the one, that Hurricane Bob Hanna. I mean, he pretty much made everybody's names. Uh,
Yeah,
he was the voice of our Supercross, and
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. My mind's just drawing a blank.
Yeah, a lot of these guys level their details and remember it all. Someone's put Larry Huffman.
There you go.
Is that
That's
right?
him, Larry Huffman.
Larry Huffman. There we go. Yeah, I remember they're so iconic as well. When you watch back even the videos now on YouTube and stuff like that, and you hear all their voices on the commentary, it's still superb to this day. Someone's put, has Billy heard of Jimmy Sloan? And if so, does he think, I don't know what that is. He's got a couple of emblems there. What do you think of him? I think that's a rude word he's trying to say there.
Jimmy Sloan. Not a name I recognize. Not
No,
doesn't mean I don't know who they are. Just not a real clean.
who's Jimmy Sloan? Who's that? Ben's put, what year did you return to America and you was involved in motocross out there, or did you go straight into the car business?
No, I came back in the end of the '94 season.
Oh, oh, we've lost Billy. I reckon that was his battery of his phone. What do you reckon? I know he's on his phone, so I think I remember saying to him, Billy, you might need to put the charger in because the old phone will do that on the old battery. So I don't know if I've lost him for good now or not, or if he's going to be able to get a charge on that phone and get it on or not. So we'll see. But you all had a lot of very good questions as well. I think I've got about 30 questions written down, and I've not even got past 10 of the ones that I've seen people have already asked, so I've not asked them. So you had some, all you boys, great with your stats and your info. Thank you very much to Patrick. Good. Cheers, medic. Hopefully he'll come back on. Thanks, Ben, as well. Ben Rumbold and Ben Piggin, all you guys got all your, I know you know all the facts and details. Martin Neary, you come on as well. Hopefully he'll manage to come back on, and then we can finish it off. But yeah, remember all them guys, Dave to Spain, Larry Huffman, all those guys it was awesome, wasn't it? Even when you want to go and watch the coverage now, it's very very cool. I can love them. It's like listening to the golf and those certain commentators and stuff like that. Just gonna get those. Hopefully he's he'll get his phone with the charger on it, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to come back or not. So we'll give him a few minutes and see if he can get back on. But I think I'm pretty sure his phone ran out of battery, I would say. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully Billy might be able to get back on. If he sticks the old charger back in the phone and we can finish off and be able to say bye to him as well, would be good. I didn't realise his popularity in Europe over in the US. Yeah, mate, he was throughout the 90s, for sure. A big rider and a big character, and everyone loved his all-out, flat-out style, never gave up attitude that we were talking about. Just got some cool pictures. I think that might potentially be, that looks, where's that not coming up? Great video. I've got a signed Action Workshop Honda card from the 92. Sadly, you had a rough day. Great video. Thanks, Ben, for coming on. Great info that you had, and information as always. Thank you, Gary. Thanks, Steve, for coming on as well and asking questions. You all had some great questions as well. Hopefully, I'm hoping he'll be able to come back on. Will Billy be able to stick the old charge in there and come back in? Let's see. Just messaged him now saying did the battery go? See if he can get back on it. I've got some pictures, great pictures there as well that Leon sent me of the Motocross the Nations helmet. Hopefully I'll be able to show you it. Here we go. You can see that, look. Very nice. Thanks for sending me that, Leon. And there's see the top of it there, look. And then looks like you've got some nice memorabilia in there. I can see an Everett shirt, and is that a Chesterfield set up there? That's really cool. Love the Chesterfield, but there's Billy's helmet there that you can see. Very nice. Love that, Leon. Oh, I just spoke to Billy. He didn't lose the battery. It just dropped off the link. So it does suck at the battery. I wonder if he ever met a bullet at the Speedway. Yeah, that's true. Oh, do you know what? I was thinking exactly that, actually, Ben. Saying about the bullet nickname. There's a Speedway rider, the American Billy Hamill as well. I'll actually ask him that he comes back on. So basically, he just got thrown off the link. So I'm hoping he's going to be able to come back on. So we can get a few more questions in and then get a few more questions in and be able to give him a proper goodbye as well. Someone's just asking me on Facebook if Martin Ashby is my dad. I just said no, it's my uncle. Did you ever consider attempting a double jump at I'll ask him that if he comes back on, buddy. Hopefully he can come back on. Just messaging him now. Oh, here he is. Oh, I think I've got Billy back. Here we go. I think I've got him back. Billy.
Yes, how are you?
We're back. I thought
Yeah,
your
I don't
battery
know
went
what
on.
happened. It dropped the link.
Ah, right, okay. So you can hear us all right now?
Yes, so far so good.
Beautiful. So I'll only ask you a few more questions, and we'll let you go. I appreciate your time. Really enjoyed it. A lot of the guys have obviously enjoyed it. They're all still sending me questions now. Um, Martin put, did you ever consider attempting the big double jump at, is it Brow? Is that how you pronounce that? The 1990 French GP, the double jump that Rob Andrews did. I don't know if you remember that.
I thought about it, but you know,
Risk
I
and
don't know.
reward.
I
It's one of
just,
them. Line it up.
yeah, I just didn't think that was going to be, you know, it was one of those do or die, and I wasn't in a do or die situation.
No, no, for sure. Um, Also, a couple of people have mentioned as well that there's a couple of people, obviously, with the, I don't know if you was aware that a couple of people got the, obviously, you've got Jeffrey Hurlins that Ben's just mentioned now that's got the nickname Bullet as well. I don't know if you was aware of that.
No, I didn't.
And did you know
Um,
the American Speedway rider, Billy? Did you know the American Speedway rider, Billy Hamill, at all?
I did not. I mean, I
Uh,
knew of him, but
mhm,
you
mm,
know, it's just one of those things that in racing you follow different
mm.
parts and hear names and stuff. Um, yeah, Speedway was more of a West Coast thing here.
Because he was Billy Hamill was he won the world speedway title in about 19, I can't remember now, about 99, but he was called the Bullet as well. That's why I mentioned it.
Right.
He had the nickname the Bullet as well, which was interesting.
Yeah, that's where Larry Huffman, like I said,
Mm,
that's where that name came from. Uh, he was good with coming them up with them on the fly for sure.
yeah, definitely. He was a great voice on the commentary. Was there any other sports that you enjoy as well, Billy? Is there any other sports you enjoy watching or?
Um, I actually became a big Formula One fan. You know,
Okay.
sit and I even follow it still today. And just background with our Supercross program here was with Wrangler
Hmm.
jeans,
Oh
back when
yeah,
they
yeah.
had two cars with Dale Earnhardt and oh gosh, shoot, Ricky Rudd, I think, drove one of them. But I used to do a lot of appearances with Wrangler, and our appearance in a Wrangler store would precede theirs, and you know they'd come in behind us, and you know I follow quite a bit of NASCAR as well.
Oh yeah, NASCAR. Yeah, you like that. What sounds like you're always busy with work by the sounds of it. But what's Billy Liles' hobbies these days then?
Billy Lyle's hobby this week is bouncing up into the mountains in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and visiting Dolly Parton, her amusement park, that Dollywood, and you know,
Nice.
enjoying a great steak, you know, a good home cooked steak, and
Yeah,
grilling out, you know.
beautiful. It sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Who are your actual closest friends in the motocross paddock when you racing days, Billy? Who are the guys that you were sort of general friends with as
Oh
well?
gosh, I would say more of them would have been, you know, uh, some of the up and up and coming guys, you know, that through Team Green, you know, different things like that. You know, I guess top professionals. I mean, I got along with Ronnie Lachine again really well.
Mm,
You know, um, I would say Bob Hanna, Ronnie Lachine, uh, you know, Rick Johnson and I, we were friendly to each other, but I mean, I wouldn't say we were great friends or anything like that. You know, a lot of the guys that were coming up, you know, out of Florida, Jeff Briz, I mean, they were not factory riders, but just people I grew up with and got along with, you know, kind of unknown.
someone just mentioned Trampus Parker. Did you get on well with Trampus Parker?
Yeah, Champs and I got along really well. You know, in the 86 season,
Mm,
you know, I hauled his bike around to the last 3 or 4 nationals, and he rode, kind of hung out together. We were in Italy together too, in the same town the first year I was there as well. And he's another one that, put together a heck of a career from nothing. I mean, it really, when he came to Europe, nobody knew who he was. Um, and he had a very, very good career for sure.
Mm, he did well. He won the 125 and 250 world title, didn't he, I think?
And he won the 125 on a
Yeah,
KTM.
yeah,
That
yeah.
thing was a rocket, but again, they put it together. You know,
Mm, yeah, I'd like to try and get Trampus on. I've tried to contact him a couple of times on Facebook. It'd be good to get him on, wouldn't it?
super guy.
Yeah, definitely. He was a good character as well to have. I remember him even when he went to the 500s as well, and did well in there, didn't he? I remember battling with Joel Smiths and stuff like that for the world title, I think, in the 500 as well. I think he
Right?
was winning on, was it the 360 KTM or whatever that was at the time?
Yeah, I think they did have a 360.
Mm. Did you have any regrets of any of the teams that you sort of went on that you wish you would have maybe have not, bikes or team wise?
That would have probably been my '93 season with Alec and those guys. I mean, I wish I'd have
Yeah.
done a little research and stayed in the 500 class. And uh, looking back though, I mean, it's easy to say that now. It would have been hard to say that then.
Yeah, yeah. If I had to sort of push you on it, who would you say were the three best riders that you ever raced against in your career?
I would say my number one favorite would have probably been Bob Hanna.
Mm.
Um, Again, I got, I'd say Eric Gabor, just because he was such a short guy to ride a big bike like he rode it.
Mm.
And I'd have to put Kurt Nickel in that range too, because he rode, some Cowies and again, the KTMs in the era that he rode them to be that competitive. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't a good bike, but from the outside looking in, they worked really hard to get what they got.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Martin Neer has just mentioned, do you remember I think you touched on it earlier, the 1989 Motocross the Nations Geldof you rode for Team Luxembourg. How did that come about then?
Well, there were three of us, on the Luxembourg license, Jackie Martins, uh, our 125 rider and myself, and it was put together for us to ride. And I remember it well. I mean, I think we at one point had it won when Jackie Martins was running up further in the classification. But I think overall we finished fourth that year, which I mean, it would have been a rough detail if we'd have won it because I mean, Jackie Martins was Belgium. Our 125 rider, I think, was Hans Mertens, also Belgium. Me being an American, I mean, we're total bunch of misfits. And at one point in the results, I think we would have won it, but I don't know. That was a great weekend too. I mean, I finished second in the 250 class to Stanton, so it was a great result for me as well.
Yeah, great experience in general, wasn't it? Someone's just put, did you race with Marty Smith at all?
No, I did not. I mean, I knew Marty, you know, again from distance, I guess, but he was a little before my era.
Was there any best and worst teammates?
Uh, I would say most all of the teammates that I had been with were good. I mean, we all seemed to get along and be compatible to an extent. Um, again, like I said, I had a great relationship with everybody at Cowie, no matter who was there. Even Howerton was a great guy. I mean, I spent some time in Texas in the winter at his farm riding and stuff. Um, and even in Italy, Franco Rossi was a good teammate.
Mm,
Um, I think he was the first Italian rider to win a 500 GP. Um, like I said, it being Southern, I tend to get along pretty much with everybody.
yeah,
Um, Enemies were never a great thing.
no, definitely. Right, last question I'll ask you. If you could re-race a meeting in your full prime, what meeting and track would you race at if you could?
Gosh, I would probably go back to the 1986 the 250 USGP.
Right.
Again, I was on production-based equipment
Mm,
and was really close to winning that GP that year anyway.
mm,
I think the second moto I started the first lap out in around 30th place and had come through the pack and I wound up second, but gosh, another 2 or 3 laps, I think I'd have been out front. And if I could change that one event, that could have been a huge stepping stone. Whether I went on to Europe or even stayed here.
yeah, some big deals at home as well. Yeah. Wow, I really appreciate your time, Billy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and sorry for the trouble. Hope you and the family are doing well. I know you had a couple of rough weeks as well.
Yeah, with the COVID, yeah, we've managed to get through that now. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare, but thank you very much.
As you can see, with using the phone, I've got reading glasses. I see good from a distance, but when I get close, I need a little bit of help. They're reading glasses, but it's part of getting old.
Yeah, that's all part of it. Yeah, I wear them sometimes as well. But absolute pleasure to speak to you, buddy. Absolute legend of motocross. Really enjoyed growing up over the years and watching you race. A lot of fans still all over the world in Europe, as you know. So really cool to get you on. Really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for having me, and to everybody that's out there and everybody that's been involved. Thanks for being a fan. Gosh, I hate to say it, but it's almost sad to see you guys go. Again, hopefully, maybe sooner you'll have me back on again.
Yes, would love to, mate. It'd be a pleasure of always. Much appreciated. Top man.
Have a good
Thanks,
evening.
Billy. And you
Thank
have a
you.
good day. Thanks very
You
much, Billy.
too.
Thanks for your time. Thank you for your time.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Top man. Thank you. What a ledge, Mr. Billy Liles. What a man. Absolute legend. Nearly said Billy Hamill then. Oh, nearly said Billy Hamill. That was your fault, Martin. Who was it? Was it Patrick who said about Billy Hamill? Nearly said Billy Hamill. But yes, what a proper motocross legend Billy Liles was. Loved his racing over the years through the 90s and the GPs. Seen him live at Fox Hill and stuff like that. It was really cool. Just one of them iconic riders that we all remember, and obviously the Johnson sponsorship and the Action Workshop bike. Really cool. You kicked ass, Billy. Awesome. Thanks, you guys, for all coming on. Very knowledgeable, you boys. Very cool. Great questions. Yes, very cool, Leon. Sounds like he'd like to come on again, which is really cool. Thank you, Scott. Love that. Thanks, Martin, for coming on. Got your pictures on as well, boys, and showed Billy your shirts and the helmets and the Motocross the Nation helmet and all that. It was cool to be able to show him all that. It sounded like he's trying to get a hold of the other Motocross the Nation helmet. He must have had two of them. Sounds like he's going to get. Yes, I have tried to chase that up for quite a bit. And actually, how cool was that? Stefan Everts come on live earlier on and said what's up to Billy as well, which is amazing. So Stefan popped on earlier live as well, which was really cool. And Stefan did speak to Trampus for me as well, but it's just trying to nail Trampus down, literally. But I'd love to get Trampus on. I was trying for probably the best part of a year chasing Trampus, and he was going all over the world at one point with his wife. Thanks, Ben. Thank you very much for all your input, buddy. Top notch on your stats and all your info and everything as per normal. Beautiful. Cheers, buddy, Chris. Yeah, very cool guy. Yes, I've actually got his number as well, mine. Can you believe that? Yeah, Jeff Stanton hooked me up with that. I was like, holy moly. And I did get a reply off of Mr. Bradshaw. Because I did chase that up for a bit, thinking, imagine getting Damon Bradshaw on, as you said, the Beast from the East and all that. And I can even show you, look. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know what this is going to be like with the whole lighting, but see, it says Damon Bradshaw. He put, thanks for reaching out. I'm super busy getting prepared to hit the road for several months. I do not have time now, but maybe in the future. So, fingers crossed, I will be able to get Damon Bradshaw on at some point. I know he was going around, he was doing the adventure tours with Jeff Stanton on his tours recently. I saw that online as well. So, yes, I have got Damon Bradshaw's number, and I will chase that up into the new year. It sounds like he's going to be busy for a bit, but I will keep chasing that up and hopefully get Damon Bradshaw on at some point. Someone's just mentioned as well, Ron Machine. I've got his email, and I've spoke to him several times on a couple of other social media platforms as well. Maybe I think it was Instagram and thing. And he said that he will maybe in the future, but he wasn't that keen. But I did ask him a few months apart and see if that mind's changed. So I won't give up for sure on that. I'd love to get Ron Machine on, so I will keep that up. Yeah, it wasn't, mate. It was unbelievable. So Jeff Stanton gave me his number, and I thought, really? David Bradshaw? Yes, of course, Ben, that would. And I did have the email, which just to have JMB's email was enough. I can't remember who actually gave me JMB's email, but I did have his email. I emailed a couple of times and didn't get a response, and I thought, oh, that can't be. I don't know what's happened there. But he did get back to me, and to be honest, he said that he didn't really like to speak about the past. So unfortunately, JMB wasn't up for it. So maybe that'll change. Don't know. Mark Deruva was really cool. I don't know if you know that I've done that, Leon, or not, or you're asking, should I do him? I did do Mark Deruva. That was a very cool interview. Bob Hatter, how cool would that be? Yeah, that would be very cool. I don't know if any of you guys know, but I've done the ones that you can check out on my YouTube channel. I've done like American Wise that a few of you are asking about. I've done a good 3 hours I did with obviously Ricky Johnson, legend himself, Jeff Ward. I did one with Mike Alessi, Jeff Stanton while he was farming as well, so that was quite adventurous. Thank you, David. Much appreciated. Greg Albertine is another one I've chased up a little bit as well. Got a few of the guys was asking Herring and Paul Cooper, and a few of the guys was trying to hook me up with that as well. So I've been trying that one as well. Pretty much most of the ones that you ask, I've probably stalked at some point. I've pretty much tried it all. A couple of the guys that I did speak to again recently was chasing up because I've been chasing Jeff Emig for a long time. He messages me back a few times and said that he will do it, but he's another busy guy trying to nail him down. Another couple of guys that I have spoke to recently on some social medias was Tim Ferry was one that I spoke to that said he would do it for me. He would have to sort out a date and a time. Also, Steve Lampson I spoke to as well, which I've been chasing for a while. Yes, I saw that book, Leon. I think it comes out in the UK in the new year, I believe. So definitely we'll be getting that Mark Deruva book, that's for sure. Yeah, I was gutted when he said he didn't want to talk about the past. I was thinking JMB. That'd be epic, wouldn't it? You never know. I always just go back in a couple of months' time and see if the decisions change, maybe. Hopefully. Yeah, Deruva, pretty straight talking. Andre Malherbe. I believe Adam Winslet got hold of him once upon a time and really got to speak to him, so that would be really cool as well. I know. Jeff Stanton interview while he was farming, was crazy, but very cool at the same time. And then he was about to run out of battery with about 5 minutes left or whatever, and he just went to shoot questions. My phone would just die when it dies. Yes, I did speak to him as well. Stefan reached out to John Vanderbilt for me. Another one as well that Stefan reached out for me was Dave Strybos as well, was another cool one that I really want to do. Also, Stefan spoke to Puzar for me as well, and sent me what he said and everything. It's just a shame that Puzar doesn't really speak the English very well. So, and the same as well of Chico Shodi as well. That was another one, a shame. He was prepared to do it as well, but it's the English part of it, that side of it wasn't good, unfortunately. Yeah, thanks, mate. I've actually did have some. I don't normally drink very much, to be honest, but I did have a cheeky little cider there. Look, not really drunk here. I'm dying to go to the toilet actually. Top Lee, greetings to Billy from Austria. Sorry, came late. Got him Robert's shirt in the 80s when he was wedding. Nice. Well, don't worry. You can watch this back. I do save the recording as soon as I come off of here, and it just goes onto my YouTube channel, Motocross and Spear Memories. Free to subscribe. You can just check it out anytime. Loads on there to catch up with. Johnny Omar and Dave Thorpe at the same time. Cool idea. I've done Thorpe on my Skype interviews, and my first ever live one I did was with Thorpe, so that was really cool. And to speak to Thorpe was proper up there for me as well, because my first ever big pro race I ever saw was I was 12 years old at 1989 Farley Castle. So as you will know, he won that GP in 1989 Thorpe, so he was definitely the first big rider I looked up to. Danny Laporte, yeah, that would be a good one as well, Marty. Yes, it would, Ben. So I have spoke to Dave Strybos, and Eric's did speak to him. So hopefully I'll be able to get Dave Strybos. Be really cool. I meet Dave later this week. Put the word in then, Leon. He knows, he will know about it because Stefan spoke to him for me and Trampus. So hopefully we'll be able to get Trampus on as well at some point. So there's still loads out there to chase. Loads of American riders I spoke to that I'm still chasing. I will continue to chase. Just got to keep persevering. Hopefully rock some dates and times down for them guys. So I think it was when I started today at 7 p.m. I think it was Billy he was 5 hours behind, so he was 2 p.m. Be careful. Yeah, definitely. When I say I have a drink, Patrick, it's like it is a drink. Like that'll be it. You know, we went away to a hotel for the weekend this weekend and took about 15 with them and come back with 12. You know, that type of. Yeah, that'd be great if you can, mate. Thank you. That'd be great. Any little thing helps. People know people and stuff like that. That's how a lot of it all started for me. When I first ever started out, I literally just chased all riders. I was just doing loads of old schoolboy BSMA riders from the UK, and then I just ended up just messaging loads of riders from back in the day and the new riders as well, and just ended up chasing it all up, and then managed to get a few, and then a word of mouth from one to another and getting a few contacts. That's basically how it all started. And then obviously got involved with Stefan, which for me was unbelievable. Of course, the man Stefan, and he helped me out with some. And then Steffi Bow got me. I did a really cool one with Steffi Bow, and she got hold of Ricky Johnson for me, and so cool, super cool. And then Jeff Stanton's was very cool. He helped me out with Jeff Ward. Yeah, so if anything ever happens to me, come and get my phone. If you want some really cool contacts. I still like it now. I look on WhatsApp and go, oh my God, I can't believe it's like Jeff Ward's on WhatsApp. Just stand there like a little fanboy, just touching on the thing, doing that. Wow, can't believe that. And Ricky Johnson. Mental. That's why I was so cool. I went to tell you this one. I went to Fox Hill. You might have seen I've done a few videos at Fox Hill because it's obviously my hometown. I like to wander up there every now and then and have a little roam around. And a few times I went up there and did a couple of little videos, and I sent to Marnie Bavorts, sent WhatsApp Zed Tortelli, Stefan Everts, obviously, and who else did I send to? There was a few of them. I think I sent it to Chico Chody as well, and they all they all replied and saying cool track. Still, I think Stefan goes still get on it now, still ride it now. Marnie Bavort said, oh, hard track. Don't think it was one of his favourites. Thank you very much, Leon. Much appreciated for coming on, and yeah, let me know if you get to speak to Dave Grobos as well. It's mine. I'll start a competition to raffle the phone. I want to start with a raffle tea time. I think she's had her tea. I don't know if I've got any tea. I don't think I've got tea. I'll slum it tonight. But thank you very much, everyone. Also, hopefully, me and Kevin will be able to bring a very cool competition soon as well. I know. It's not a bad show, is it? Just got a new one as well, not long ago, when I could update my contract. So I got a phone, and then, as per normal with me, didn't think too much about it. And then, literally a month later, the new one came out. So it's only like mine was a month old, and the new one come out again. Didn't really think about that too well, did I? But there we go. But yeah, there's some very cool contacts in there. It's worth raffling all day. But yeah, I've got, if we can get this competition going, it's not actually a bike, even though we've got a bike being made as we speak. Very cool bike that'll be. And there's another possibility of another replica of a bike that I've been speaking to someone about, that hopefully that'll come to fruition as well. But this would be a very cool competition if we can get this one. All I'll say is it might be American. So hopefully Kev will be able to sort that out, and that'll be a very cool competition I should have coming soon for you guys. Trust me. So I will speak to you all on that as soon as I know. I'm going to be trying to arrange plenty of Speedway interviews as well over the winter months now. It's getting a bit darker, colder. People hopefully will be chilling out at home after a night, after work, and tune into some of the videos a bit more live as well now, hopefully. And then I'll be chasing up. I've been chasing up loads of American guys for an interview and stuff like that as well, from the Motocross and Supercross wise. So see what we can do. Then hopefully have a good winter of plenty of interviews. Then we'll go from there. So thanks everyone that come on this evening. I'll share this tomorrow, the recording of this, and if you want to tag people and share the post, it'd be appreciated. Like I said, if you can invite people into the Facebook group, it'd be cool, it'd be appreciated. Got my website as well, motocrossandSpearMemories.co.uk, that normally got a countdown on what the next live interview would be and all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, just follow the social medias and share them, or any of the posts would be really appreciated. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you all soon and let you know what the latest is and what I've got coming up. So good night and God bless. And that's the t-shirt there from Mr. Andy Graham. But his lovely wife and Andy Graham, when they come to my reunion, got from me. Look, with my dad's saying on it, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. So it's good night from me and good night from me. Ciao, Bella. Cheers.